representatives from the Institute of Internal Auditors. Before we go into the briefing session, we have a president, Ms. Ruth Doreen Mutebe. We have a chair, conference chairperson, and also the board secretary, Mr. Ronald Chirunji. They'll be able to introduce themselves. We also have the CEO of IIA Uganda here with us, Mr. Ruben Mopada, and a few of our key sponsors. We have a number of sponsors for the event, but we have a couple of them here who are going to give some brief remarks as well. I welcome you all. We have a brief agenda. We'll be having some introductions from the members of the Institute. We also have some brief remarks from some of our key sponsors, and then a brief Q&A session after that. So to kick off this event, I'd like to invite the president of the Institute of Internal Auditors, Ms. Ruth Doreen Mutebe, to give a few remarks about the Institute of Internal Auditors, our background, and what we do. Join me in welcoming Ms. Ruth Doreen Mutebe.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, good afternoon. Apologies.
Good afternoon.
As earlier introduced, my name is Ruth Doreen Mutebe, and I'm representing the presidency of the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda. And I'll gladly tell you that Uganda also took the chairmanship of the Institute of Internal Auditors in Africa. So I will also be speaking in the capacity of the chairperson for the African Federation for the Institutes of Internal Auditing, of the African Federation for Institutes of Internal Auditors. I would like to wish you a very happy Internal Audit Awareness Month. May is a month that the internal audit profession celebrates what we do, and we also engage with our stakeholders world over. So what we are doing in Uganda here is also being done elsewhere in the world. To give a brief about the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda, the Institute was formed in 2002 as an association of about 33 members. And in December 2008, the company was incorporated as a company limited by shares. And the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda is also affiliated to the Institute of Internal Auditors Global, and the global family with offices and headquarters in the US, Florida, is a family of 112 institutes, just like you see IIA Uganda. And IIA Uganda is also affiliated to the African Federation of Institutes of Internal Auditors. The Global Institute of Internal Auditors, like I said, is globally represented, and we also have representation in the 5 continents across the world, in Europe, Asia, America, Africa, and other continents. So Uganda is represented at the African level as well. And at the African level, we have presence in 28 countries, and we are also working on presence in 9 countries across the continent. The IIA Uganda has grown over the years from 33 members, and we currently have 735 members, or you will say 735 internal auditors in organizations in the private sector and in the public sector. So if you go to each private company, if you go to each ministry, department, and agency, you will find an internal audit office. And we have the Ministry of Finance here. We are represented at the government level through the Internal Auditor General's office in the Ministry of Finance. Our mission as the internal audit, the Institute of Internal Auditors, is to professionalize internal auditing in Uganda. It is to promote, it is to build capacity of professional internal auditors who can work with ministries, with departments, with agencies, with institutions across Uganda for us to protect the value of those institutions. So what exactly do? We work with the boards of organizations, we work with the management of organizations, and what we are doing is evaluating right from the word in auditing. Auditing is to check. So what we do is to work with the leadership of organizations to confirm that we have the right people in positions of leadership, and those people in the positions of leadership are taking the right decisions. What we also do is to work with management to make sure that they envisage the obstacles that will impact the goals of the different organizations, both in the private sector and in the public sector. And we also check that operations are running well and controls are working. And if any of those things I've spoken about are not working well, we advise on how we can have improvements in those areas. So simply put, an internal auditor walks the journey with an organization, with an institution in the private sector, in the public sector to achieve their dreams or aspirations. So it's the internal auditor saying you want to be probably the largest organization in the region, in the country, in the world. We want to have proper accountability for the monies that we have spent. The internal auditor is the person who says, this is where I want to go, but probably we need to do one or two things if we are going to achieve our objectives. Internal auditors don't work alone. I want to believe you have heard about external auditors. So internal auditors work within the organization. They are part and parcel of the management team, but of course, working a bit independently and not participating in the decisions, because you can't participate in the decisions and you also come back and check. But we also work with external auditors. The external auditors come once a year, and what they come to do is to check that the money within the organization has been spent properly, and therefore the owners of the money have the confidence that it has been utilized very well. I earlier said that May is an internal audit awareness month, and as the Institute of Internal Auditors, we are cognizant that it is not only about the work that we do, but how we give back to society. In the previous years, we have donated mattresses to our friends, families, and colleagues in Bududa. We have planted trees and we have done a number of other things. This year, we want to touch life. And you'll agree with me that life is in the blood, right? So what we are going to be doing this year, we have partnered with the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services Limited. And during the annual conference, we will have a center where all internal auditors are going to be donating blood so that together we can work with our friends in the health sector to save life. So in summary, that is what the Institute of Internal Auditors is. We have presence in Uganda, but we are part of the family in Africa. We are also part of the global family. And I will invite the Chief Executive Officer to give details of the services that we do, where is it that we can be found, and if you have any questions, what is it that you do. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you. I've already been introduced. I'm called Father Ruben. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Institute. My boss, the President, has tasked me to tell you what we do at the Institute of Internal Auditors. The Institute of Internal Auditors, among other services, we do conduct trainings for internal auditors, and also do conduct what we call the external auditor assessments for internal auditors. In most cases, people ask internal auditors who audited them. We do the reviews. The internal auditors are also audited. So that's the external audit quality assurance that we do. We also do consultancies like inducting the boards and audit committee members. We also have certifications that we do conduct for internal auditors, and we in that one we include CIA. CIA is Certified Internal Auditors. Is one of the certification that the institute do if you want to become a guru in internal auditing. There is also certification in risk management assurance. Is a specialty certification for internal auditors. Currently, we have around 177 certified internal auditors in the country. Where we are located, the institute is located along the Chambogo Road, and the place is called, I think that side is called Tuatle. It's Tuatle, you know, as you go to Chambogo, this side is Tuatle, that side is Chambogo. So we're on the other side, Kaduyu Road. It's not far from National Council for Higher Education. So that's where we are. If you want to find us, you can also visit our website, www.iiauganda.org. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today's press conference is officially to announce and provide details about our upcoming 19th Annual Internal Audit Conference that's taking place from the 21st to the 23rd of May under the theme Engage and Inspire for Change. And around this time, I would like to invite the conference chairperson to share a few insights about the upcoming event and brief you about how you can sign up for the event. Join me in welcoming Mr. Chirunji. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, members of the press that we love so much. Sometimes we love to hate them. That's all. That's it, okay. Okay, colleagues, as I was introduced earlier, unfortunately, I am not as lucky as the past speakers. I have to go a bit low. But as I was saying, as I was introduced earlier, my name is Kirungi Ronald. I work as the board secretary for the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda. But in this case, I am the conference chair for the upcoming events. We have two upcoming events. So you can as well say we are holding 2-in-1 events, and I am the conference chair for that matter. A warm welcome to you, members of the press, and we can't take this for granted. We love you so much. You promoted us over the years, not just the institute, but these events. The first few months, they have already been running on a number of media houses and the print media, online, and we know that is all because of some members. In fact, I can identify a few in this group that have been helping us in terms of promotion of the events. I will speak in some bit of detail about the two events. Remember, I said we have a 2-in-1 events that we are organizing, and I will start with the first event. The first event that we'll be holding is the annual board and the audit committee workshop, and that's the 16th board and audit committee workshop. What that means is we have been, remember, my president here did say we started sometime in 2002, and therefore we are holding the 16th annual board and audit committee workshop. That shows you how far we did. This will be held on 20th May at Kampala Serena Hotel. The event, this particular one, attracts at least, based on history, at least over 250 members have always attended this event. And going by the current registrations, we have already hit that number. That means we're certainly going to go much higher than that. The Board and Audit Committee workshop is mainly attended by members of the oversight authorities in institutions, and by oversight I mean Board and Audit Committee members, basically the leaders of governance institutions, whichever organization we come from. Basically, in this case, we have board members, we have audit committee members, and mainly chief executives tend to attend this event. However, besides that category, we welcome everybody, including internal auditors, risk practitioners. We have also often had legislators attending this event. That's the first category of the event that we'll be holding, and that, as I said, it's on 16th of, it's on 20th of May 2025. The second category of events we're going to hold is the annual National Internal Audit Conference. This is the 19th annual National Internal Audit Conference. What that means is that we are holding this event for the 19th time. This event is a very big event, at least attended by over 500 members. Based on history, last year we had about 550 members. It's a hybrid event. Some do attend it online, but majority, over 500 last year attended physically. The event runs for 3 days. That's from 21st May to 23rd May. It's at Speak Resort, Onyonyo. This event, remember I did say the board workshop attracts the leadership in most institutions, but this particular event normally attracts the basically internal auditors, risk practitioners, our colleagues from the external audit field. We do have some members from compliance, but again, like the earlier one, we don't segregate, but majorly it's that team that forms the participation of the annual National Audit Conference. And as I said, this time we are holding the 90th conference. Basically, we are going to have the two events thereafter running for 4 days, with the first event running for on 20th May, that is the 16th Board and Audit Committee workshop. And the second event running for 3 days, that is from 21st May to 23rd May, and that is the 19th Annual National Internal Auditors Conference. The two events have the same theme, and they will run under the theme Engage and Inspire for Change. This theme was specifically chosen given the times that we live in. We live in such a dynamic world. We have a lot of transformations going on. We have a lot of changes going on. I am sure a number of you have been here and have heard things like reorganizations and structuring in the government and many of these institutions, but also globally, you know, the many changes that are happening in trade and the environment in which our organizations operate. Having looked at that, we thought the theme that would lead us to equip our members as far as inspiration for change or preparing them for change would come in as the most ideal theme. That's the brief I can give about the arrangement and the preparation for the two events. In terms of the objectives of these events, the first objective really is to try and equip our members in terms of preparation for, aligning with the theme, in terms of preparation for the ongoing and upcoming changes. As you know, a lot is happening. Internal auditors live in such a dynamic world. Auditors are strategic partners for all the institutions we live in. It is expected that these people really, internal auditors, should be advising on the organizations of whatever is happening. But to do this kind of advice, you have to be very informed. And as IIA, we think we have to equip our members by preparing them for such changes. The other thing is to equip them for the challenges that they face. If I asked many of you, I don't know how many have interacted with the internal auditors, but I want to believe you to say maybe these are people you love to hate. I don't know how often you people account, that some of you do not see internal auditors as partners. Now, these challenges do not only stop at individuals, these challenges extend to the organization as a whole. The best IIA can do is really to try and equip our members to prepare for the challenges they face in these organizations, especially if the organizations are living in a dynamic world. Then you need auditors who can adapt to that kind of change. This kind of information we normally disseminate during these conferences, at least every workshop. The dynamism of the organizations have not spared them, especially boards keep changing, unlike auditors who might last in an organization for a while. But if you looked at the institutions we tend to serve, many of these boards change every 3 to 5 years. And we thought that having an annual conference, an annual workshop that would bring board and audit committee members and help them understand their role, how they can prepare to serve their organizations, how they can basically help them understand what they're supposed to do for these organizations would come in handy. So part of the workshop really, for as far as the board is concerned, is to prepare them and equip them in terms of tools and the knowledge and skills in terms of the guidance that is expected from them. Why this conference? One might ask. Of course, it comes at a cost because we have to prepare. So institutions have to sponsor the members. Whereas the primary objective of the institute is to build the profession, but then, and the institute is not a profit-making organization, but then you need resources to equip these people. So we do organize this conference, and we expect institutions basically to sponsor their members. But to sponsor their members, then they need to know that there is some value driven out of participation in this kind of conference. So internal auditors play quite a number of roles. Unlike many who think we are watchdogs, we are not necessarily watchdogs, but as I earlier said, we are strategic partners, we are advisors, we promote, we help in the prevention of things like fraud and the prevention of things like corruption where possible, but also promotion of ethical governance. If you have a member of your team really participating in this event, you can be sure that you will come back a better person as far as dealing with matters of fraud governance are concerned. And partly that should be one of the reasons to promote. The other is to help improve, especially the board and audit committee workshop really, is to communicate to the leadership of these institutions the importance of internal audit, change the perspective of internal audit. For those who might look at us as watchdogs, by the end of that workshop, normally want to be viewed as those partners who are helping improve matters of governance. Those are some of the reasons that I could highlight as why really somebody should be attracted and interested in attending the two events. The other highlights I could give about the conference is in terms of the presenters or people will be presenting at the event. And I will start with the Board and Audit Committee workshop. At this event, we have quite a lineup in terms of topics, but I will speak major about two. We will have a keynote speaker, and that's none other than the Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda, Mr. Chiwanuka. And then we'll have a guest speaker, that's Mr. Robin Chibuka. He's a director in the League of East African Directors, and also a trustee CEO Summit. But for maybe some of you might have been at Serena, Mr. Chibuka launched his book on 30th, I think 30th May, so he's also a publisher. These members are not chosen out of popularity, they are chosen for what we think they can actually contribute to the conference, especially from a governance perspective. For those who may not know, for instance, about the current Attorney General, he's previously a board member of a number of boards in this country, and nobody is in a better position, I believe, to speak to Board and Audit Committee members on governance matters as a person who previously served on boards. Going to the 19th annual conference that will be, audit conference that will be held at Speak Resort Munyonyo. I will again, like I said, the lineup is long over the three days, but I will talk about majorly two people. The guest of honor. The guest of honor will be the Governor, Bank of Uganda. And like I said, these members are chosen for their current contribution to governance and their past contribution to governance. Not a better person than the governor of Uganda really to be a guest of honor to this kind of event. And then we'll also have the keynote speaker at the annual conference, and that will be none other than the retired principal judge, Justice James Ogola. Many of us grew up listening to Justice James Ogola. I believe when he starts to speak, especially on matters of governance, you just don't want him to stop. Those are the highlights I could give about the speakers and guest of honor for the two events. The other bit I could talk about as far as the conference is concerned and the program, we have such a long lineup, like I said, and so many topics. But we'll be talking on matters of leadership, governance. I've already talked about it. We'll be talking about innovation. If you look at innovation, internal auditors exist in these organizations, but some are high tech. Every now and then, technology changes, and it is expected that internal auditors will have to audit some of these systems. So we have to present our members matters of innovation, artificial intelligence, and things of the kind. I know a number of things happen here. As we are speaking here, probably some of you are providing real-time feedback and things of the kind. Did you know that internal auditors are also supposed to audit what you do and how you do it? Maybe just to add on what the president earlier said, internal auditors are not specific, are not basic accountants. Internal auditors are anything. In fact, if you work in a team, let's say if you are from Nation Media Group or a media house, the best internal audit team would certainly have somebody who understands or who has studied journalism. Then that person will know the right questions to ask. Now, when we have these kinds of events, our intention really is to equip our members on technology and governance, finance, name it all. The other thing we are taking seriously about this event, especially at the annual audit conference, the 19th annual audit conference, is we'll be speaking about standards. The Global Institute of Internal Auditors did change standards, and they took effect on 15th January. Sorry. 15th January this year. We did have standards changing. What that means is that our members have got to change how they do things in terms of standards. Internal auditing is done based on a standard. So we need to equip our members as far as the standards are concerned, and I want to believe they will be better equipped with regard to standards by the end of this conference. The other bit I can talk about is basically, colleagues, to tell you that this event, as you can see just behind me, we have quite a number of partners, and I think as conference here, it goes without saying that really I should just run through them. A team we like so much. Many of them have worked with us this journey for basically over 19 years. Some have been ever present. Uganda Revenue Authority is one of them. They have basically sponsored and partnered in each of these events. The Ministry of Finance, as we say, they don't stop only at policy formulation for the auditing profession, but also partnering in terms of sponsorship. Sentinel Bank, as you can see, they have been with us all through. People's Protection Fund, Teammate, those who are from the audit profession, you will be familiar with the Teammate. Uganda Electricity Transmission Company is one of those who have always partnered with us. The Insurance Training College, the Microfinance Support Center, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, again, these have also been with us for quite a long time. Uganda Electricity Distribution Company, ABSA, they have been with us. SafePro, Uganda Limited, this is a consultancy firm, they have sponsored every year. Beyond Associates, Chura Risk Management Software, The New Vision, and Uganda Communications Commission. The event is still ongoing. We're still getting many more sponsors, and we still welcome them. Again, it's also to encourage public institutions, the public institutions, stakeholders to follow the coverage of these events. These events are beneficial, like I said to all of you. By the way, you're the kind of referred to as auditees. the auditor sits on the other side, then you have you, the person being audited. It pays to also learn a few things about auditing. Then you know how to interact with the auditor, and it makes life a little bit easier. So what that means is that it's important for every member of the public really to follow this event or these two events as they progress. Lastly, I will invite stakeholders in governance, finance, audit and risk management, and the all well-wishers to attend this event. And also to inform you and encourage members to register. Our registration is still ongoing through our platforms, and that is that you can register through iiauganda.org. iiauganda.org. If you go to the IIA website, you'll find it, and it will lead you through the registration process, including the contact numbers, which you can call in case you find a few challenges here and there in terms of registration. But otherwise, the system is very easy to use. Lastly, I end this call by encouraging our colleagues not just to audit for compliance, but in line with the theme, to audit for change. As I said, let's not just be the people the members love to refer to as the watchdogs, but strategic partners as far as internal auditing is concerned. I thank you.
Thank you, Ronald, for that enlightening address. Our dear guests today, media houses, at this point, I'd like to introduce some of our sponsors. We do have a number of sponsors, like the chair has communicated. However, we have some representatives. In no particular order, I'd like to invite Mrs. Annette Mosime from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. We have Mr. Jonathan Kiza from UEPCL. We have Mr. Ivan Kulubia from the Uganda Revenue Authority, and Mr. Jerry Kagoro from Centenary Bank. Please join us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy to be here, and I bring you greetings from the Ministry of Finance, and in particular from the Office of the Internal Auditor General that I am here to represent. And as you have heard, we have partnered with the Institute for the number of years that they have been with us. And the Office of the Internal Auditor General has responsibility to, first of all, develop rules, policies, procedures, and strategy for the internal audit profession in the country. And on that basis, then, that is why we have to partner with the Institute that has to join us in that responsibility, but also to help improve the internal audit profession in the country. And as you have heard, we are partners with the different institutions that we work to help them achieve their objectives that they have set and their strategies. And on that basis, we review, and where we see that it is not moving as expected, then we advise the management of those entities. For this conference in particular, how have we partnered with the Institute? We have partnered with the Institute two ways. First of all, at the board and committee workshop, we also have the oversight body, that is the audit committees in the different entities of government, that is for the agencies, for the government ministries, and the local governments. And on that basis, we have partnered to have all our audit committee members, or what we would call the board audit committees, attend the conference of the board committee at the Serena, and we believe that it will be of benefit to help us achieve better value from them as they provide that oversight role. Then for the conference also, we have partnered in the same way to have the internal audit staff in the different entities Ministries, agencies, and local governments also attend the conference at the Speak Resort, and we will be able to support quite a good number of our staff for that event, and that will also help grow the profession or help the staff appreciate internal audit as a profession. We have also been partnering with the Institute on representation of the board of the Institute. The Ministry of Finance under the Office of the Internal Auditor General also is represented at the board of the Institute to support in whatever way and in that area, especially of regulation. And that has been over years. At the moment, we also have representation of the former president of the Institute, Mr. Hussein Singoma, who is on the board of the Institute. The Internal Auditor General of the government is an office under the Ministry of Finance, or I would call it, and that is also provided for in the law. That is our Public Finance Management Act as amended 2024. So in that act, it is specified on what the roles of the Internal Auditor General are and what his responsibilities are. And that same act also provides that each government entity, agency, or ministry will have an internal auditor, and that is done, and we are represented in all the government entities, and we undertake the activities as defined. That is to support management in their role of meeting the objectives that they set, and our role is to support them in the review, and where we think it is not moving well, then we advise. Generally, that is what the Office of the Internal Auditor General does, and that is how we collaborate with the Institute of Internal Auditors. Thank you for listening to me.
My colleagues from the Fourth Estate, allow me recognize the protocol as observed earlier, but in a special way, I have the shareholder, that is Ministry of Finance, and I'm going to recognize my shareholder. Good afternoon. My name is John Nkiza, and I speak for the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, the national utility distributor. And I want to thank you and commend you for the support as we walked through the transition period, which has been so tight and in some areas very turbulent. But for today, we are here for a purpose of supporting the internal auditors in the country, because as an institution, we also have a fully fledged internal audit function. And it has both support, direct support to management, that reports directly to the board in order to ensure that there is a distinct role and they are not in any way interfered with when they are doing the oversight internal function. We also want to believe that the theme for this year resonates well with our strategic direction, and it's one of the moral why we are here today. We believe that this period of change that we are in, I know we have had utility supplier who has been with us for the last 20 years, that's Remember Limited. We have transited, and that's change. We believe that speaking into this change, we will also have to add value, especially bringing to life what government is intending to do in the distribution space. Now, the component of engagement, as a company, we strategically believe in engagements, and we know all our respective strategic projects that we are about to roll off are all going to be driven by engagements with communities through the different platforms, through the Fourth Estates, being community barazas, activations, measure it all. So we really find the theme sitting well with our strategic direction, and that accounts for our partnership with the auditors in this year's conference. But allow me to speak about our services. We are a power-driven company. We sell and distribute electricity in the different parts of Uganda. We are licensed by ERA, and we are operating the grid. I think from the time Umeme left, I know the first 2 weeks have been turbulent for the different parts of the country, but so far so good. We are getting there. And we have embarked on a number of projects like commencing new connections have commenced. We are starting to revamp the network very aggressively, and that's why we have issued out our planned shutdown for the month of May to ensure that you plan accordingly. I think for that, I want to submit. Thank you.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I'm Ivan Kumbia, Acting Manager of Planning Internal Audit, representing the Commissioner Internal Audit. Well, as notified by the previous speakers, we are in the month of Internal Audit Month of May. And first of all, I would like to thank our mother department and ministry, which is the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, for continuously supporting us. And I also want to thank the Institute of Auditors for organizing this conference. As this conference is a good platform for us to share and network with other auditors in other departments and other agencies. And also with the changes which run around in the profession, it's another platform for us to learn. As you are aware, through the internal audit department, we have over 40 members to the institute, and in the organization there are more than 40 who are supporting the work, the internal audit function. On this aspect, as internal auditors, we support the organization in the area of risk management, compliance assurance to the different laws, regulations, and also, given that we are in charge of revenue collection, we support in operational efficiency in the organization. And on top of that, we are tasked to promote good governance in the institute. And on that note, I would like to encourage other MDAs, institutes, and also to come impact and partner with the institute in order to run this profession to greater heights. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Kabor, and I'm the Chief Manager Internal Audit at Centenary Bank. So as Centenary Bank, we proudly associate with the Institute of Internal Auditors to promote the profession. And we have done that on a number of occasions. We have sent a team, we have sent teams to participate in the board and the board session that was talked about, and also a number of auditors for the conference. So in that way, we have been able to support the Institute of Internal Auditors. So as a bank, what have we benefited? We have a lot that we have benefited. For example, part of the team that we have in internal audit, certified internal auditors, and these are people who are tasked with providing assurance, governance, risk management, and controls at the bank. So, like my colleague said, these people report to the board and other stakeholders to provide you comfort that everything at the bank is working as expected in terms of governance, in terms of risk management, and in terms of control. The other aspect where we benefit, the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda is part of the Global Institute of Internal Auditors Global. So there are certain standards that come through that we follow as auditors in terms of planning our audits, in terms of carrying out risk assessment, in terms of reporting and all that. So as an association, we provide us with these standards so that we can serve you better. When you look at Centenary Bank, we mainly sell trust to you. You give us your money to keep it, and you come for that money. So at any time you want to get that money, so we sell trust. So if we cannot have good governance, risk management, and if the controls are not working well, then you will not trust us. And that is why you see we are now the leading microfinance institution in Uganda. We are number 2 currently, but hoping to become number 1 over the expanding. So in terms of the institute, we have really had a lot that we have benefited from them so that we can provide value to you. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the various media houses, we now open the floor for a brief Q&A session. If you have a question, kindly raise your hand. You introduce yourself and the media house that you represent before posing your question, and it will be responded to.
Colleagues, questions? N'ow'amasannyalaze temulinako kibuuzo? Mulina light? Okay. Sorry, you have what? Mukoye bukoye.
What could be the impact of this whole conference, the workshop to Uganda? Exactly, because it's amongst two, that is two drafting amongst two internal auditors. But to a lay person, how would they benefit? I thought you're going to bring us maybe a report of a certain thing for us to know what is going on, but what could be the impact to a lay Uganda?
Thank you. Any other question?
Katumba Jonathan from UETCL. Is it open to other people? Because you specifically target institutes, and Ugandans would want to know that is it open?
Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Tony Aloysius from Nation Media Group. I wanted to know how many countries are you expecting in this kind of initiative?
Okay. Thank you.
So, but I can also ask you,
Okay.
Mr. Kiza, you've been in office for, I think, like 40 days. We would wish to have a brief update on your performance, how far you've reached in distributing the power. Thank you.
So I think we'll have Mr. Kiza speak first, and then we'll hand over to the conference chair to answer those two questions.
Okay. Since I have to go back and restore power, so I will be very brief. We have made 41 days today in operations. We started our operations on 1st of April. So many milestones have been achieved, and one of them is having a seamless transfer from Umeme to UEDCL. It looks a simple thing, but it has been a hefty job that we don't want to go unnoticed. In that vein, we inherited 116 faulted transformers in the different parts of the country. As you'll appreciate that there has been a loud outcry in the different parts of Kampala, even outside Kampala in different cities. But in the first 24 days of operations, we were able to restore those transformers. And as I stand here, as of today, we have replaced 262 transformers in 41 days. So if you could do the mathematics, I think on the daily, we have been replacing 5 transformers in different parts of the country. But all is in the spirit of ensuring that people are able to access light. The other things we have done is to conclude recruitments. I think this is the biggest recruitment we have done in the history of the electricity supply industry. We're able to onboard over 2,200 employees in less than 79 days. and I am not so sure that you have had any loud outcry in the different parts that the process was marred with irregularities and etc. All staff are deployed and they have reported on duty. They are ready to serve you. In the same vein, we have commenced with new connections. By close of month of April, we had connected 5,089 customers. That is really to cover both domestic and three-phase. And that was the beginning of the exercise. We have massively deployed staff. We are commencing with dealing with the backlog of people who had applied for power in the old era of Umeme, a total of 277,789 pending customers, and all of them will be connected in the coming period. But we are following a principle of first come, first serve. But also, new connections are also on. You can apply for your connection online. By the time we close our first month of operation, about 8,200 new applications have been received in our system. And we also assure them and also assure every Ugandan that those who have applied for power, the connection materials are available and we should be able to connect them. Last but not least, still in the same spirit of accounting for what has been done in these 30 days, I know Ugandans were having this anxiety that they will not be able to vend on the first day of operations, but you'll agree with me, that was, I think, the very first milestone we encountered on our first minute of operations on 1st of April. All systems were able to allow you to buy electricity, both on the different telecoms that we have been partnering with. And I'm sure even if you went on all banking platforms, my partner Centenary Bank will tell you people are buying energy. That really tries to bring home that some of the anxieties that we have been having as consumers, we are dealing with them one by one, one at a time. The essence of the plant shutdown, as my colleague has asked, we don't have a very hygienic network, and you'll appreciate that most of the structures out there are not in the best shape. The different parts of the country are also growing at a very fast rate. You can see the rate of urbanization, meaning that there is demand growing from time to time. So that calls for urgent investments. But also the good that we deal with electricity, we cannot deal with it when it is on. We have to switch off power. And sometimes we choose switch off power because we have planned to do some works, but sometimes power goes off because there is an emergency. An emergency can be both because of human activities, or it could also be as a result of a technical fault. Human activities are really an array of them, including activities under the line, cutting tree branches, and vandalizing the electricity infrastructure. The moment you vandalize, automatically these lines go out. And these cases in these last 40 days, I think, have been one of our greatest pain points. Areas around Wabigalo up to Kafu have been vandalized 6 times in these last 4 days. Places in Mitiana and Mubende vandalized more than 3 times in the last 30 days. And we're not talking about small investments which are being put down. We are talking of billions of Ugandan shillings being put to waste by vandals. It's a very critical vice that we want to call all Ugandans to join UECL as we fight this vice. We shall embark on a campaign aggressively to try and do a behavioral change campaign. But if it also fails, we should be able to invoke the amendment, the Electricity Act of 1999 as amended in 2022. And I believe that we know that it's a very punitive law, that the sentences are actually very severe, especially for those people who are caught with electricity related assets, or even vandalizing a meter at home. The fines are really very terrible. If you want to interest yourself, you can read section 85 and 86 of the amendment. You realize that you can sleep in jail for not less than 10 years or pay a billion shilling of fine, or even both. In simple terms, that's what we have among the very many endless lists of things we have done. That's what we have achieved. Abatulaba erinnya John Nikiza ndi mwogezi w'ekitongole kya UEDCL. Twakamala ennaku 40 mu buweereza nga twakwata obuweereza buno okuva ku kitongole ekibadde kiweereza ekya Umeme emyaka 2 egiyise. Mu nnaku 40 tusobodde okutuuka ku buwanguzi mu bintu nga 7. Ekisooka okusobozesa bannayuganda okugula amasanyalaze nga tuyita mu nteekateeka ebaddewo eya emikutu gyaffe gy'amasimu MTN ne Airtel. Ekyo kyali kimu ku bibuuzo ebyali ku mitima gy'abannayuganda abamu ne bagula n'amasanyalaze mu bungi okulaba nti olunaku olusooka olwa Apuli 2025 tebalusisinkana, naye twasobola okuba nga tusobozesa ebyuma bino bikalimagezi okwogerezeganya ate ndowooza okuweereza tubunyumirwa. Ekyokubiri, twasikira transformers 116 nga nfu mu bitundu ebyenjawulo eby'eggwanga, nga we twawunzikira ennaku 24 mu buweereza twali twakazzaawo transformer ezo 116 naye ng'ogasseeko n'ezo ezifa mu bitundu ebyenjawulo eby'eggwanga. We tujjidde wano ku media center tuli mu transformers 262 ze twakazzaawo mu bitundu ebyenjawulo eby'eggwanga, ekitegeeza nti buli lunaku tubadde tuzzaawo transformer ezitali wansi w'ettaano mu bitundu ebyenjawulo eby'eggwanga. Kitegeeza kinene kubanga ettwaliro ery'amasannyalaze libadde terisigibwamu ssente emyaka 2 n'ekitundu eriyise, so liyoota nnyo ate tugenda kweyongera mu maaso n'okusiga ssente gavumenti ze yatuwa okulaba nga tuzongeramu. Mu nteekateeka y'emu tutandise okuggyako amasannyalaze kagenderere mu bitundu ebyenjawulo eby'eggwanga okulaba nga tuddaabiriza ebintu ebitambulizibwako amasannyalaze n'obuweereza obw'enjawulo mwe muli zi transformer, okukyusa ebikondo by'amasannyalaze, okwongeza layini obunene bwazo okulaba nga zituweereza bulungi, tukendeeza obulumi bw'amasannyalaze amatono, amasannyalaze agavumbeera mu bitundu ebyenjawulo eby'eggwanga. Ndowooza ekitongole kya UDCL mu byafaayo by'amasannyalaze kisasinze okuyingiza abakozi abangi mu kaseera akatono, nti twasobola okuyingiza abakozi 22,000 mu nnaku 79. Ate abakozi bano bali mu bitundu byonna ebyenjawulo by'eggwanga, buli omu amaze okufuna ebbaluwa ye, ate buli omu ali ku katalaali ekyokulaba obuweereza tutandise okulaba nti akalemberezi we kali. Amasannyalaze okuvaavaako mu bitundu ebyenjawulo nakyo kikendedde, naddala nga tumaze okuzzaawo transformers ezaali zaakuba, ate ssaako n'okuteeka mu transformers empya mu bitundu ebirina omujjuzo ogw'amaanyi okulaba nga tukendeezaako ku kanyigo eri aboota amasannyalaze. Naye mu bbanga eriddako maaso tugenda tutandika okusiga ssente mu nteekateeka ey'okuddaabiriza amakuŋŋaanyiriza ag'amasannyalaze, okuzimba layini empya n'okukonekitinga bakasitoma oba okwongeza bakasitoma abapya ku grid. We tujjidde wano twakagattako bakasitoma 589 mu wiikisi 2 ezasembayo eza Apuli, ate ng'enteekateeka eno eruubirira okulaba nga tuyungako bakasitoma 27,779 be twasikira okuva mu kitongole kya UMEME, naye nga tugenda bakonekitinga nga tusinziira mu budde bwe basaliramu amasannyalaze. Tetugenda kuyita mu makoona kubanga yasooka okusaba gwe twagala okusoosowaza, ate mulimu n'abo abasaba amasannyalaze nga musasudde ssente, kyetwandiise self-funded schemes, abo nabo tubasoosowazzaamu kaka ensuso. Bwe tujjidde ku mpewo nga ebitundu okuva Nakasongolo okweyongera maaso ebitundu by'ekkafu ebyo nga byakwonoonebwa twakasisinkana obubbi bw'ebyuma by'amasannyalaze emirundi nga 6 mu nnaku 41. So obulumi tulina bw'amaanyi nnyo ku ludda olwo lw'obuweereza nti bakasitoma mu bitundu bino ebyenjawulo amasannyalaze tegabeerako kubanga obudde buyitirivu bukutte waggulu ne wansi. Mu ttuluba lyerimu ebitundu nga Mityana Mubende naye twakasisinkana obubbi bw'ebyuma by'amasannyalaze we twasangira ebyalo nga 20 ebimu tebibadde n'amasannyalaze, ekikosezza nnyo obuweereza okulaba nga enteekateeka y'obuweereza terabika bulungi eri omuntu wa bulijjo. Ebyo bye tusobola okubagamba, naye twakakola bingi naye ng'ebyo bye tusobola okubagamba budde bwe tweyanzize mu masiro.
Abantu wansi bagamba nti UDCL ate obubbi bwayo tebumanyi bwa bumezi, ateekako unity mu ddakiika 2 nga ziba ziweddeko. Infact omuntu omu yankadde example tiyali asigazaako nusu 10 ku ssimu ye ng'ayagala akeesi, bwe yamala okuteekako tokeni namba bw'ati okuva mu dayiningi mu kiyungu ewali kaya ka mita tokeni ka mita ka light agenda otuuka mu ddiro agazikidde. Most people are complaining about that. You are giving very many units but gaggwako mangu. Secondly, token numbers mugaba mpanvu nnyo zibatawaayi.
Kale tweyanziza nnyo bakama baffe atandike n'ekisembyeyo token number mpanvu. Tunajjukira nti tekinologiya mu buweereza bw'amasannyalaze agezaakyukakyuka. Waliwo akaseera we twagoberanga bakasitoma okutusasula kubanga mita twasomanga nsome ne tuddayo ne tukola biiri tugenda okukomawo nga muggaddewo oluusi ne tutandika okubakuba. Ebyo myaka ndowooza nga 2 mabega. Kati mu mulembe mwe tuli osobola okuludinga amasannyalaze go ng'ate ogeegulidde wekka ng'ogakakasizza n'ogateekako n'ogalaba. So kyengezako okulaga nti emirembe gy'obuweereza kigenze gyeyongera waggulu. Ndowooza omulembe gwe tulaga gwe kubanga osobola okuludinga amasannyalaze nga gava ku ssimu nga gagenda ku mita yo. Kyokka olaba tukubiriza abantu okulaba nga ekisooka tuli ku mita ez'omulembe ze wandise smart ennyonjo, smart meters mu bitundu ebyenjawulo. So ndowooza gye tulaga mu nteekateeka ya tekinologiya. Ekyamasannyalaze okudduka ennyo, amasannyalaze abatulaba tegalimba, ky'ogateekako kye ganywa, ekyo tegalimba. Ekisooka ebiseera ebisinga tulina ebintu bye tukozesa mu buweereza obwaffe waka. Olina epaasi, olina fridge, byonna obitaddeko omulundi gumu, otaddeko n'amasannyalaze agaaka. Ate otaddeko uniti emu. Mu mazima amatuufu, kkiriza gaana uniti ejja kutambula. Ekyo kimu. Ekyokubiri, tugezeeko okulaba nga tufuna ba electricians baffe okukebera earthing ez'amayumba gaffe. Abantu abasinga kava bamala okutukolera wiring tetuddangamu okutunula ku earthing values. Bino byonna birina engeri gye bikosaamu amasannyalaze engeri gye gatambula ku njuyi. Oluusi enkuba etonnya okwata ku luti lw'ekyuma amasannyalaze gakukuba ako kabonero nti earthing y'ennyumba ye etandise okukola ki okuva mu nteeko bw'ina okubeera. So tulina bye tulina okukola ate tujja kuba tubasomesa mu nteekateeka eziddako maaso okulaba nti tusobola okutegeera nti amasannyalaze gano ekiganywa kiki. Ebintu bitusinga bye tusinga oteekawo bye binywa amasannyalaze si kitongole. Ate units kituufu nnyingi nnyo, nze ndowooza okwandibadde kwebaza eri gavumenti kubanga units zeeyongeddeko tekyandibadde kibi nnyo. So gavumenti yeebale nnyo okulaba nga eyongezzaako ku unity ate tunywerera obuweereza bw'amasannyalaze. Tweyanziza basinga ne bannange.
There are some few questions for the conference. We'll have the conference chair and speak to them.
Okay, thank you, colleagues, for the questions. I can understand the many questions towards my brother. There was a question from my sister here. She didn't mention her name. Okay, Serena from, I don't know which media house. Online, NUSTV online. Okay, from Serena, and her question was, she asked about what's the impact of the conference to Ugandans. Colleagues, during my earlier presentation, I did talk of matters of governance, but also the president talked about the role of the internal audit, especially to the public and to the institutions we serve. If you recall very well, she did talk about our contributions to matters of risk management, our contribution to matters of controls, our contribution to matters especially of governance. Many things happen in this country, and many of us see things at the tail end. We did talk about the role of auditors, especially in matters of prevention of fraud, corruption, and the like. Basically, the management of the institutions. A lot of these institutions are mismanaged, and at the end of the day, you will see one individual, they are saying X is the CEO of this institution. But behind the CEO, there is a whole lineup of individuals, and among that lineup are internal auditors. These are very, very key individuals in institutions, by the way, because they are key advisors to whichever CEO or institution that you might find. Now, if the internal auditor is not doing a good job, certainly you will find certain things happening in some of those institutions. In fact, a number of those which end up collapsing. Sometimes in the profession, we have a common saying that people tend to ask, where was the auditor? That question tends to come when things go wrong. What that means is that it is expected that the auditor plays a crucial role in matters of governance, risk management, and controls. Now, this conference to a common Ugandan is to help improve what Uganda would say kubangula, our internal auditors, so that their performance back at their institutions in terms of risk management, governance, and control is top notch. Basically, that's how what I can tell you. The the objective of this conference is to improve our auditors. I did talk earlier about the changing standards. Audit is done based on standards. These standards took effect in January. Many internal auditors have actually not yet changed. In other words, they are still living a little bit in the past. Because the standard change, it's our role as the institute to have this kind of conference and help them understand how things have changed. I did talk about changing technologies. How can we help our auditors improve and audit in line with existing technology? If you're talking artificial intelligence, if you're reporting here is AI, it is expected that an auditor who is doing an audit on you understands AI. If you're capturing these things and somehow you're sending in real time, it is expected that that auditor knows how to do real-time auditing and the like. Basically, that's what I can say, the importance of this conference for Uganda. Improve internal auditors so that they can improve their institutions, because these institutions, at the end of the day, serve every other Ugandan. Katumba asked about whether the conference is open to every other Ugandan. In my earlier address, I did talk about everybody, it paying off, it being better that everybody understands what an internal auditor does. I did say we be auditors on this side, but we have people you can call them auditees on the other side. It helps if the auditee, if the colleague on the other side, the person undergoing the audit understands internal audit. Therefore, this conference is open to everybody. But also, today, I know I think you have colleagues in the media who have translated or transited to governance. I think there are a number. We have representatives from UBC here. Exactly. I think one of your top leaders is a former journalist. I don't know if there's anything like a former journalist, or maybe once a journalist, always. Yes, but at least you have one who is now at the apex of the institution. He did not get to the apex by chance. Attend this, I can assure you that will be the starting point for you to transit from that level to governance, to leadership. That's how things happen, they don't happen by chance. Therefore, this conference is open to every Ugandan who has interest and would love to learn one or two things on matters of governance and probably later become that leader they love to be. I know there is an institution which just got, okay, I don't want to call her a younger lady, but I know I'm older than her for purposes of not being misquoted, but I know she has just gotten to the top. Isn't that true? National Media Group, she did not, I don't think she has just gotten to the top by chance. I think she has very good understanding on matters of governance. And you want to learn governance, please be present at this conference. I think that answers the question of who should attend and whether it is open to every Ugandan. Then between Aloysius did ask, from Nation Media, asked about how many nations are attending. I can tell you the entire East Africa list will have representation. And by the way, we've contributed so much to sister countries. The Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda was, maybe I might give that to my president when she's closing, maybe she will talk about it, but I can just highlight it. The Institute of Internal Auditors is one of the first ones in East Africa and has done such an enormous job in terms of developing and growing other institutes in and around the East Africa. I think Rwanda being one of them. I can confidently say we've nurtured that. I can also say, as I speak, we are nurturing the institute in South Sudan. Just last year, was that in March? Just in March, the leadership of internal auditors in South Sudan were in Uganda, and they had come to benchmark how we do internal audit here, and they visited a number of institutions led by the Institute of Internal Auditors Uganda, of course. Among them, I think they went to URA and a number of those institutions. So such colleagues will be coming to partake, but also the event is hybrid, it's both physical and online, and we'll have a lot of representation online, including IIA Global in the US. They will also be represented. But also we'll have representation from South Africa. In fact, among our sponsors, we have one from South Africa, Chura Risk Management Software, as sponsors from South Africa. So that goes to tell you how diverse and in terms of the participation of this conference is concerned. I thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, colleagues. And now I can formally invite the public and all stakeholders to this year's conference. I will welcome the President of the Institute of Internal Auditors to give a closing remarks.
Good afternoon once again. And I like the conversations that have been happening here. And the conversations you were having about EDCF and the other organizations happen on a day-to-day with the internal auditor. So it's the internal auditor in the organization that is asking those difficult questions and also advising to see that things happen the way they have been planned to happen. I would like to appreciate everybody for the time that we have taken to have this discussion. And specifically, I appreciate the representatives, my colleagues from the Institute of Internal Auditors for being here to create that awareness about the internal audit profession. You'll agree with me that all of us in one way or the other are auditors. All of us in one way or the other ask questions. There was a friend who was asking questions about the speed of the Yaka token. Yeah, that is audit in itself. So that is what internal auditors are doing on a daily basis. So I appreciate the colleagues from IIA for coming to be with us to create that awareness. In a special, we appreciate all our sponsors and partners, those who are here and those who have not been able to make it here, but especially those that are here. Our mother ministry, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Uganda Revenue Authority, Centenary Bank, our bank, and who have I forgotten? And UEDCL. How would I? And UEDCL, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for sponsoring internal auditors. If we have an internal auditor in every institution asking these questions, then we'll make Uganda a better place. If we have an internal auditor in Ministry of Works asking about the quality of the roads, we have one in hospitals asking why we don't have enough drugs. We have one in hotels asking why we are having probably meals that are not to the standard. If we have one in the education sector asking questions about the quality of education, then we'll make Uganda a better place. I appreciate the media. You're our key partner, and we thank you for partnering with us to take the message of internal audit far and wide. And we are banking on you to take the message forth for everybody out there to come and attend the board workshop and also the conference. I appreciate the members of the IIA. Sometimes the role of internal audit is not very easy, but it's a role that needs to be done if we are going to live a better life for all of us. So I encourage everybody those who are members, to get certification in internal auditing. I think some of you could be asking questions, but the auditors we see probably don't behave the way that you're talking about. It's because they are not certified internal auditors. So let's encourage our friends to join the profession of internal audit, but to also take the certification in internal auditing so that we can make our country better, we can make our institutions better. Guess who gets the services? It is either us, it is our mothers, it is our fathers, it is our brothers, it is our sisters, our friends who are getting the services from these organizations. So it's important that we all do a good job. And with that, I would like to officially invite you to the 16th Board and Audit Committee workshop that will be happening on the 20th of May at Serena, and also to officially invite you to the 19th Internal Audit Conference that will be happening at Munyonyo Conference Center from the 21st up to the 24th of May 2025. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.
I think at this time we just have a quick photo for the members of IIA Uganda and the various members of our sponsors that are here with us today. Media houses, feel free to take your shots.
Thank you so much. Group. Colleagues, let me assure you that Mr. Keys has not given you that much information you needed. We shall have him at the end of this month so that we have a detailed presser so that he responds to each and every question that you have. So, Mr. Caesar, with the powers given up to me, I now summon you at the end of this month to come and give us the update.